And I like to do all my prep work right here online with you because I figure I have to do it myself, so we might as well do this together. And that way, if you have any questions, you can always shoot them out to me about the prep. Sometimes the prep is just as important as the painting itself. And so it's kind of nice to get it right and get your questions answered. So I'm going to put in about that much sealer, and then I want to fill it with water. Oops. Now I'm using, you can use like a 3/4 inch oval wash for adding your sealer. So I'm going to just put some water in here and thin it down so it becomes transparent. Get it nice, like kind of milky, watery. Mix all that in. I'm just going to put a little bit more. Okay. So you want it nice and thin down. And then go ahead and add the sealer to your entire piece. The sealer is great because it acts as a bonding agent for the rest of your paint that you put on. It helps the paint bond to your surface. It also will block any impurities that might come up through the wood. I know with like the MDF, they use glues and stuff like that. It will just block all that so it doesn't come up into your painting itself. Okay. Pull this over. And this little mediums dish that I mixed up will definitely go the whole way for covering my block. I probably have too much actually. So you don't need a lot. This is why a lot of people do paint several pieces at a time because you make the most of your mediums and your paint. Since you already have it out, it's kind of nice to use it. And get all the edges, even the bottom. So we have blackberries coming. There's big, beautiful blooms on our blackberry bushes. We're excited about that. Always got to do at least a batch of blackberry jam every summer, if not a few. And then a blackberry cobbler is always in order. I might have to do a blackberry project. That would be fun to do. We definitely have a blackberry summer here. I'm just taking off the price tag. Don't need that on there. Okay. And I just scraped that off with a palette knife. I am going to sand down my edges a little bit and round them out. I'll probably do that later. Nope, I had just enough to cover my piece. Oh, I have one more side. Let's see. I might be able to eke it out. I'll just put a little water in my. Okay. There we go. Now we want to let that dry before we continue on. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and let that dry. So let us know as you come in how things are going in your neck of the woods. How's your weather? Is it hot or is it cold? Some areas of the country are getting pretty hot by now. Okay. I just see a few of you on. Let's see here. Go over to my other computer. Pull you up there. So who doesn't like strawberries during the summer, especially with the 4th of July coming? Do you guys do those special like strawberry desserts that sometimes are out there that you can see where you cut strawberries and make it look like a flag? I love that kind of stuff. Okay, make sure my sound's off. Mhm. Okay. So in your pattern, you will have received a line drawing with a shading guide. This shading guide is really important. It's for when you start using your color pencils. This will help you know where to shade. And then you have your instructions. So it'll help you know step by step what to do. Now, I usually don't like to mix my base coat mix, like I have a base coat color that I'm doing right here, this blue. I usually don't like to do a mix, but I couldn't get away from it, and we do need to do a mix for that. So when this is nice and dry and we're ready, we will be base coating this whole area right here with that mix. It's Colony Blue and Warm White at a 1-to-1. Okay. What we'll do is we'll do that first, and then we'll do the backdrop to it. We'll get that base coated, and then we'll put on our tape and do our espresso. So a few steps before we get everything base coated. So I'm going to give this a little shot of heat. Well, maybe that's down in the garage too. I think it is. Hello, Verdi. Hello. Diana says it's overcast. Will be sunny and then the high 70s. Not bad. And I know, Diana, you live in California. Are you kind of on the coast? Are you on the coast? I used to live down there. I just loved it. I miss it sometimes. But I was so excited. I have to tell you guys the news. I'm so excited. So I grew up in a little town. Well, it was the Navy base in Puerto Rico. And I lived there just when I was a little kid. And I have so many memories of this place that we lived in Puerto Rico. And I think I've told some of you guys this story before, but uh, we lived right on the coast. Thank you, Dale. Got my blow dryer. Thank you. We lived right on the coast, and there was like a little cliff that went down to the ocean in our backyard. And I've been looking online for years just to try to find a picture of like an overhead shot of where I lived would be been so nice. And I could never find anything. This little neighborhood that we lived in Puerto Rico on the Navy base called Rosie Roads. So anyway, every so often I get on the internet and look again. Well, I scored. I scored a week ago. I found it. Someone did a video of the street that we lived on. So the story is in the 80s, the military let go of the base. They, you know, moved everyone off and they let go of the base and it just let it grow over. It was just full of weeds and, well, it's tropical there, so everything grows fast. So all the homes and everything were all just overgrown with trees and bushes and vines. And so the neighborhood I lived in was the case too. It was all overgrown. So then I guess I'm not sure exactly the story, but I think we're trying to attract investors to come in and purchase the land to make it into a resort because it's right there on the ocean. It's beautiful. Where I grew up was definitely could be a resort. Our house was just a normal Navy housing with cinder block walls. It wasn't anything special, but it did keep the stormy weather out because when there were hurricanes, the house would hold up. So, oh, Diana, you're 10 miles from the beach. That's wonderful. Not too bad, huh? You're so close. So, the other day when I went scouring the internet again, I found a YouTube video about the street, and I couldn't even remember the name of the street, but the guy described it and showed a picture, and I was like, that was our street. And the name is Cabot Drive in Puerto Rico. So he does an overhead shot and it shows our house. I can totally see it. That's our house. I recognize it. It so happens that, everything was overgrown, all the weeds and everything, the bushes were overgrown into the houses. But they took one section of that street and mowed the lawns and cleared the houses out of trees and bushes and got them to where they could bring investors in and look, right? It happens out of like maybe 5 houses that they cleared out, one was our house. And so with the overhead shot that he did with a drone, you can clearly see it. And I just was so amazed that we could be able to see our house. And we didn't go inside, but we did see like the overhead shot of the yard and where it was right there on the coast. And then I would go down to the beach and swim in the ocean there. It was all there. It was so great to see it. And I'm just hoping someday I can go back and visit. I don't know. It sounds like the government is coming back in and reinvesting in Rosie Roads. And so um, I don't know if we'll be able to, but it's a dream of mine. So I was really enthused to be able to find that the other day. I just couldn't even believe it. It was so great. Okay. All right, we're gonna do a mix. I'm gonna grab something here to do that on. Let's see. Okay. just going to do my mixes here. So I want Colony Blue and Warm White, and it's just a 1-to-1, so it's easy. We're just going to cover this area right here. Okay, so just enough paint to do that. So Colony Blue, I'm thinking about that much. Got a little bit of piece, a dried piece there. And then our Warm White. So 1-to-1. So I was so happy about that. I went and took it to my dad for Father's Day and showed him. It was just so neat to be able to talk about it. Okay, so you're going to mix these two colors together. I'm just using a little palette knife. Just use whatever you have on hand to make this work and mix these colors together. You're going to end up with a lighter blue. So many memories. And we were there when it was kind of in the beginning stages, or it was just a quieter time on the base. Later it grew, that base grew to house a lot of people. But when we were there, I was there in the 60s and early 70s. It was kind of a quiet area. And I knew my street like the back of my hand because I would, it was back when you could go out and play. Kids could go play while their moms made dinner. Those are the good old days. Okay, you want to get that nice and mixed up. And we'll go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on this before I start because it is a little rough. So I'm going to go in with a finer sandpaper. Let's see, that one's not as fine. You want a finer sandier. You're just going to knock off the burrs. You end up having like little burrs that come up from the wood. And I'm going to just knock off the edges too. So what I mean by knocking off is just lightly sanding the edges so you kind of take off any of that sharp edge feeling. You want to, it needs to be fairly smooth. It doesn't have to be glass smooth, just smoother. So I'm going to pull my paint away so I don't get sawdust in it. So I'm just going to kind of lightly go over these edges. I like to have my edges a little rounded. We'll do a little bit more sanding after we're done with the painting, but I just want to get kind of our preliminary sanding done here. It's more of a light sanding. Gonna have to work around all these little nooks and crannies. And if you don't like the sound of the sander, just mute your volume because this is all we're doing right now. Okay, that part feels good. you want it nice and smooth. Like I said, it doesn't have to be gloss smooth. It just needs to be smoother than when you feel all those burrs coming up from the wood. Now I'm going to really sand this later so you can see on the original. I'm going to really sand this later after we paint. But we're just getting the first part of it done right now. Okay. This is a little keyhole. You know, like if you wanted to hang this on the wall, I don't think you're going to want to because it will probably go this way or that way. I don't know. It's a heavy piece. It's not really needed. Okay. All right. Now we'll dust away all this. Oh, there's one spot right here. I could feel it. Right in here. Okay. We'll dust that away. I want to get it out of all the little nooks and crannies, all our little dust particles. Okay. Okay, it feels much better. I'm ready to paint now. Right. Looking for my brush. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and load my brush. I have a little moisture in my brush just so that everything goes on smoothly. And we're just going to do the top edge here. We'll do a couple coats. And you're going right over all the etched lines. Those will show up for you. I had my husband cut them a little deeper so that we wouldn't lose them. But they will show up once everything's dry. You see them again pretty good. Okay, your first coat. And we'll let that dry and we'll do a second coat. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to look for that stencil that I used for this. I just have a stencil bag. It holds all my stencils. And I had it right in here, but then I mixed everything up when I was looking for a different stencil. So now I got to go back through it. Let's see here. This is a stencil by Sandy McTeer. And This is what it is. It is called the Swirly Background Stencil. It's by Sandy McTeer, and it's on her website. You just go to Sandy McTeer. I think it's sandymcteer.com. Let me look. It's sandymcteerdesigns.com. So Sandy, Sandy, and then McTeer is spelled MCTIER, and then designs.com. So I use this stencil for my background, little swirls. You can use whatever stencil you want, or if you want this one, you can go to her and purchase this from her. Whatever you like, you just choose a design. I went ahead and cut the edge right here so it would fit right up against like that. That's how I did my edge there. So yeah, go ahead and try to find a stencil that you enjoy. Maybe you have one that has starbursts on it, or maybe you can find a strawberry stencil or a floral stencil. That would be pretty too. So whatever you choose, just choose something. It is nice to have a design that's a little smaller. Like you notice, this is smaller, in the design elements are smaller than some stencils out there. So um, this is a good choice for the background. Or if you find something that's similar to that, that just has smaller elements to it. Hello, Michelle. I know, isn't that stencil great? I love it too. I'm just going to show you some other examples of stencils while this is drying. I'm just going to keep letting it dry. Okay. Let's see here. So there's like a polka dot stencil. That is kind of fun too. You could do polka dots. Here's like little triangles or diamonds. Like a small design like that would work better than a larger design. Kind of show you an example of a large design that probably just wouldn't work so good. Most of mine are small. This is a larger design. I don't know if I would do this. I don't think it would work as well. So you want something with smaller design elements to it. What else do I have? This one's kind of a fun one. It's just a bunch of boxes. Or this one even looks like fabric, like woven fabric. So have fun. I want you guys to choose what you have, use what you have for sure. But if your heart is set on the swirly stencil by Sandy, I do give you, her name and her email, her website information. Just look under stencils on her website and you'll find her stencil selection. She has a lot. You have to go through a couple pages until you find the swirly one. I think she might even have a search button on her website too. So, okay, I'm doing a second coat. I think that will be good enough, is 2 coats. You want to have some flow medium in with your paint. Or if you don't have that, you can even just use a little bit of water to get your paint to flow. Okay, and go ahead and fill in the whole top there with this beautiful blue. It's like a robin eggs blue. I love this. Robin egg blue. It's pretty. Hello. I think it's Kathy Ferrara. Hello from West Tennessee. I'm glad you're here. Okay, we're going to do the dark brown edging last. Okay, so we'll do The next thing we'll do is this purple color in the background. And that is just plain amethyst. So you can just grab your amethyst and put that on your palette. Little dollop of amethyst. Do you guys have a collection of stencils too? Like I have like a good bag of stencils. My stencil bag, I'll have to show you. I've done so many things to try to organize my stencils. I put them in notebooks. I've done all that. No, I now just have a big bag. And this is what I can keep up with. See, this is my bag. It's a little zipper bag, but it's a big one. It's like 24 inches by, well, it's not quite square. So I don't know. It's about 24 by 36 or something. That just seemed to do the trick for me because I have so many stencils. It's just like ridiculous. I didn't have enough notebooks. And then some of the stencils are so big, you can't fit them in a notebook. So I just ended up putting them in a bag. Okay, go ahead and just fill in this back section with amethyst. And you can, you can get some of the color over on the middle section. We're going to tape it off and use our espresso to fix that. So it's okay. You can go over a little bit. These two colors are so yummy. Okay. The 4th of July is coming up. You guys have any plans? We have our area puts on a great 4th of July show. There's a bridge in Bremerton, and they started doing this, I don't know exactly how long, but within the last, I want to say 5 years maybe, they started doing fireworks off the bridge, and it is so cool. So they like do a waterfall of fireworks. It's really neat. They go down, the fireworks go up, they go down off this bridge, and it's so, I've never seen anything like it. It's very cool and magical. We had heard about it, um, a couple years ago. We had heard about it, but we had never seen it. And it's just right down the road from us, so it's like, "Really?" I don't know. We just didn't, you know how sometimes things in your area and you don't even know about it really? It's right there in your backyard. Yeah, that's how it was with that. And so one day we were out doing an errand. I think we were taking packages to the post office, and I went with my husband. Usually he goes alone, but I went with my husband, and we looked over, and they were doing the fireworks. It was a late night that night for our packaging. So we're going to the post office, and we see that they're shooting off the fireworks on the bridge. So we found a place to stop and watch, and it was such a cool little magical moment with my husband. Those magical moments are sometimes a surprise, and they are treasured memories. That is one of my treasured memories. So, yeah, fireworks off the bridge. It's so cool. I love that they do that. Okay, when you get all that done, go ahead and flip your holder over, and we're gonna do the back too. You always wanna get the back done. That's how you finish your piece, is making sure your back is finished too. I think I'm gonna need some more to finish this off. So let's see if I can do this. Hello, Joyce. How are you today? Okay. So if any of you are new to us, we do mixed media art here, and it's instructional art so that you can do this on your own and you can copy what I've done. I do my best to write up instructions that aren't too confusing, although it can be very difficult sometimes to get the wording right so that you understand. Oh, it can be really a challenge for sure, an uphill battle for me sometimes. But I do my best to offer as many resources as I can so that you can be successful at painting and penciling too. And we also have lots of teachers that love to teach and are happy to teach you. If you are interested in what they do, you can look them up on our website at erikajoanne.com and go to the teacher pages and you can see what classes they're offering. So they will take care of you. And a lot of you do already take classes from our teachers and you get more, I think you get a little more attention than you do from me here because I can't really see your work. I'm obviously not, I don't see you. So sometimes it's, you can get a little just more one-on-one or personal attention from the teachers that we have. So if you want that kind of thing, and to meet new people, a lot of them do Zoom classes or in-person classes, which are great too. Okay, so I got all sides, all the purple sides done. Now I'm just waiting for that to dry. I probably will go back in and just add another coat just to be safe. I do kind of like it to be nice and opaque. So I'm going to go ahead and dry that now. If you don't have a Heat It tool by Ranger, I highly recommend it. Or even just a really good blow dryer. This does just the trick though. It is a nice heat gun. Yeah, I can see a few spots that I missed, so drying it will reveal all of that. It helps you see better. Okay. So today we're going to try and get everything base coated, and then on Monday we'll try and finish the piece. That's the plan. So if we can get everything base coated today, we'll be doing really good. Okay, sorry for the noise. I hope that wasn't too loud for you. Yeah, I can see a few spots where I can go back in and add some more of that amethyst. Just have a nice coat of it going on. Less is more. I always tell my students it's better to go in light and do several coats than to try to get in a really heavy coat. that takes forever to dry, and it can be globby and messy, not as smooth, but less is more. Now, I wasn't sure when I was designing this if the purple would go so well with this piece, and when I was in the first stages of designing it, I just really had my doubts. I wasn't sure if it was gonna work, but I just kind of, powered through it and kept going, and as I added more, details, it just started to come together, and I was so very pleased with how it came out. I love the color combination together, after all. One more coat on the back here. Las Vegas is 105 today. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess it is July. Or no, we are in June still, right? We're in June. Well, tail end of June anyway. I can't imagine what it's like in August in Las Vegas. I hope you can stay cool, Joyce. That's rough. Thank you so much, Joyce. Appreciate that. She says she loves the paint and pencil projects. Boy, did you ever go to the Las Vegas painting conventions? I do miss those so much. And we were talking about Sandy McTeer with her stencil, and she just posted um, some photos of the Tropicana when they took it down and how much she missed our painting conventions in Las Vegas. And I have to agree, that was a special time for all of us that are in the painting world. I uh, I exhibited at that show probably 10 years. I exhibited there. It was a special thing. Okay, that purple is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Love it, love it. Okay, wash out your brush and dry it as best as you can. Set it aside. You don't want to ruin your brushes. Always wash them out in between colors. Okay, needs to dry a little more. So we'll get that heat gun out again. Oh, since you were every year since 93. I know, we all miss it so much. It was such a way to connect with our friends. I had a good friend named Betty. Do you guys remember Betty Shipman? She didn't know that it had closed, and I had to be the one to break the news to her. Oh, that was heartbreaking. I think her heart broke because it was the way she connected with all of us. Mm. And since then, I've lost touch with her. I don't know what's happened with Betty. If any of you know Betty Shipman and know what's going on, please private message me. I'd love to hear um, her status. Okay, yeah, but I brought my kids down to that show. We did all kinds of things. We went to crab feeds, crab buffets. It was a special, special time. Okay. All right, now we're going to add that stencil background. So you want to get your stencil ready. We're going to add the stencil background. We're going to lighten the purple down with some we're going to create the light purple mix, which is amethyst plus warm white. So it's 2 parts amethyst, 1 part warm white. Just lighten it a little more, and then you'll need your stencil. So you'll need to definitely fit your stencil. And like I said, I just cut off this edge right here. So it looked like this. I just cut it really close. I left a little bit there to keep the stencil together. Okay, so I didn't cut it all the way to the edge. I left a little tiny sliver. So you want to do that now. You want to cut your edge down so it will fit right up in that nook. Okay. So you want to do that now. And you can use makeup wedges or your special stencil brush, whatever you have to do your stenciling. I'm going to use one of Josania's. They have an oval dry brush that I like, and sometimes they get older and kind of wispy. So you can see mine's a little bit wispy there. So I use this as my stencil brush. Another person that makes stencil brushes that are really awesome is Chris Hoy. She makes some awesome stencil brushes. So you can look to her also. Yeah, or just a makeup wedge works too. Okay. So you'll want to just go ahead and place it. You're going to go all the way around. So we'll do the first front of this like that, and then we'll move to the sides and back. Okay. But first we got to mix up our color. So got our brush ready. We need to mix up our color. So it is 2 parts amethyst and 1 part warm white. So I'm just going to do that. There's my 2 parts amethyst. And 1 part warm white. Thank you, Cheryl. Aw. Thank you. I fell in love too. I love this piece. I'm so happy with it. I took a chance. I wasn't sure if it was going to work out or not, but I took that chance and just kept going with it, and it just turned out really nice. I'm very happy with it. Okay, so you want to mix those 2 colors together, 2 parts amethyst, 1 part warm white. You're going to create this lighter purple. Isn't that pretty? And this is typically how I like to do my stenciling. I like to use the same color for stenciling, just lighten it or darken it. So depending on what how you're going to apply it. It just made sense to lighten it here for this situation. So a few values down. Get that nicely mixed together. Okay. Oh, thank you for mentioning that, Cheryl. Lori Speltz's stencil brushes. She has nice stencil brushes too. So that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so just, lay it down wherever it just kind of makes sense to you. And we're going to be working around this edge, which is a little awkward because it might not fit, I don't know that it's going to match up with it, but that's okay. We'll just make it work. Seems like I did it this way last time. I think so. I did it this way. So we'll just kind of make it work and see what happens here. Okay, so I'm going to just add a little bit of paint to my brush. See, like that? Now, I don't want to go directly to my stencil with that. Remember, less is more, less is more. So you want to take your paper towel and just remove some of your paint. I'm going to see if I can't move this over here. Remove your paint, okay? So you have just a hint of color on your brush. You don't want any water in your brush either. It needs to be dry, okay? You could tape this down if you're not feeling like you could do it like this, but you're just going to lightly pounce. And you can go right up to the edge. Don't worry about that edge because we're going to paint that later, right? We're going to paint that with espresso. So you're going to just add a light coat. And if I pull it up, that's what it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. And because I don't have too much paint in my brush, I can pounce a little harder. I think I'm going to stop right there. And then we'll kind of fix that rest of it. So now less is more, but I think I do want it a little more, like I want more paint there. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit. It dries quickly because your paint is basically dry already because you're not using any water with it. So I got to find out where I left off here. There we go. I'm going to do one more coat. Remember to wipe off your paint, lightly pounce, especially when you start. And then go all the way down. It is a little awkward doing stenciling on this piece, but just take it one little bit at a time and you can work through it. Okay, that's a little better. I like that. It's brighter. Okay, so we'll just, let's see here, meet up somehow with this part, maybe like that. That might make sense right there. Okay. So I'm removing some of my paint and I'm going to pounce lightly. If you have too much paint on your brush, it will bleed under your stencil. And then you don't get the crisp lines because it's bleeding. Okay, can go a little farther. Got to grab a little more paint. Always wipe it out on your paper towel first. Then go to your piece. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Okay. Okay, see how it goes? I probably will put a little stroke right in there because it just seems like open right there. So maybe I'll add one of these strokes. There's a little stroke right there. Maybe if I do that. Okay. And then this looks kind of like not finished. So maybe I'll just fill in that gap with another stroke. There we go. There's one. And I can go back and clean that up with the purple mix that I had. So there is going to be a little bit of a space, because you had to accompany this part. There's going to be a little space, but that's okay. Okay, we'll keep going. See if I can't match up with it. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to match up with it. So we'll just keep moving forward. I think I'm going to turn it this way. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can always go back with your amethyst and fix anything. I did try to make that so it wasn't a mix. Just using my old Josanya brush to do this. This is the oval dry brush. Okay, I think I'm going to stop about right there. Right. So it's going along. Okay, those little swirls are so cute. I just have to decide how I want to finish this off here to where it makes sense, you know? Go this way. I'm so glad to be on with you today. I always love to be on YouTube with you. I'm so glad that you showed up and watching the channel. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe, you guys. I think we're just at 800, and it's taken us a long time to get to 800 subscribers. I'm so grateful, though. So grateful. So please like and subscribe if you are interested in what we do. Okay. All right. So I have a few little, off. That's a little bit off right there, but I can fix it later. So I'll just let that dry and we'll move on to the edges or the sides here. Let's see, how about we do this? And I can do any part of the stencil here. Just want it laying down. Taking off some of the paint. So I don't have too much paint on my brush. Pounce, pounce, pounce. Your brush will start to kind of dry down in the, see, I'm getting some dried edges of paint on my brush. And eventually you have to rinse it out and start again. But when you start again, you have to also remember to dry your brush really well so you don't go in with a wet brush. The wet brush would cause bleeding. That's why you always use dry paint when you're stenciling. No water. It'll just cause bleeding underneath the stencil. Okay, so I just put a little swirl design on the edge. We'll go across the top here, and it just really doesn't matter where I go. I can just do that. Yeah, I'm about ready. I'm starting to really get a lot of paint on my brush, so I'm about ready to rinse it out and start again. Now, I like to use these background stencils for pretty much all my designs. That has a back to it. I like to add a stencil design to the back of my pieces. I think it's very charming and a nice little touch. Or even if you're doing a box, if you can cut a stencil down to the inside of a box, that would be cool to have a stencil design inside a box. Some people will just paint a little design inside their box. That's cute too. I like that touch. Okay. Voila! It's looking so cool. I love it. Okay, we'll try to match this up the best we can. I could even go sideways and maybe go all the way. There we go. Yeah, after I get this done, I think I'm going to wash my brush out. with a makeup sponge, which works really well too. I like to use a makeup sponge a lot times, is you just dip it into your paint, but always go to your paper towel, take off the excess, and then you pounce it just like you would a brush. Okay, a little bit more. Mm. Almost there. Yeah, my stencil my brush is getting, oh, sad. Okay. All right, well, got that top done, got that one side. I just have this side and the back to do, but I'm gonna rinse out my brush. It's looking pretty sad. So let's rinse it out. Start again. Hello, Alice from hot and sunny South Florida. A little late, but better late than never. For sure. We're glad you're here. I really appreciate you guys coming on and chatting with me. There's nothing like that. I love it. And it would be so sad to be by myself on here. So I'm grateful that you're here. Okay, I rinsed out my brush really good. Now I'm just trying to dry it out on my paper towel so I don't have too much moisture on it. You know, you're not going to get it completely dry. There's going to be a tiny little bit of moisture in there, and that's okay. But you don't want it to be wet, wet for sure. And see how I'm not worried about this because we're going to base coat that later. Just get all the sides done. Okay, put one on here. That. My husband and I are in charge of an event this weekend. And so after I'm done here, I'm going to be stenciling some signs for an event. It's a busy weekend for us. Okay, ooh, a little bit right there. I know it's kind of like not focused because I'm so close to the camera. But let's see if I can't hold it like this. Okay, almost there. There we go. Phew. I definitely will have to go in and clean things up, but that's okay. I can do that. Now let's do the back. This will be easy. We'll just put it like that. There's a lot to do, so I'll just keep pouncing away. You can hear all my like brushes rattling in the background with my pouncing. You guys finding some stencils that you like and working? Are you doing it right now? Are any of you painting along with me? Please show your work on Paint and Pencil with us. We have a Facebook page called Paint and Pencil with Us. It's a group page where we share our work with each other. Some of our teachers will share their classes. we share, like the final results of something, or sometimes our friends have also shared progress photos. So it's always fun to get on there. So go ahead and check that out. It's called Paint and Pencil with Us. Okay, a little more paint on my brush. I'm about ready to rinse out my brush again. Have you been watching any of the videos about the um, people coming from different countries for the World Cup? That has been so interesting. They're all just blown away by the things that we have here in America, and it's just refreshing to see that. One boy was like at a restaurant and he could get a refill, and he was just like, "What?" He was so blown away by it. And then another person came out of a restaurant and he had this big cup of soda and he says, "I ordered a medium." It was so big. So they're blown away by that, and then just the beauty we have here in our land. I sometimes I just take it for granted how much we have available to us. We have all these state parks, and every state is, like, so different. One of the soccer players was saying, you know, it's like a different country in each state. And I thought, "Wow, that's a good way to put it." It is kinda like a different country. Every state is a little different and has their offerings. It's fun to travel. That'd be a fun thing to do, is travel across the country and experience all the different states. Okay, let's see. Can I match this up? I don't know. I think that was where I was. So it was there. That's a little swirl. I don't know if I can match it up. Hmm. Nope. I'm just thinking. Let's see. Maybe if we just kind of like make it work. Yeah. Okay. That'll work. We'll make it work. Diana says they seem to be obsessed with ranch dressing. It's true. I saw that video too, like all the different flavors of ranch dressing. We had a group of kids. Well, my daughter, when she was younger, she worked at a campground for the those that had mental disabilities, and it was really a neat experience for her. And a lot of the other kids were from other countries. They would come and work at this camp during the summer and stay for a few months. And we had them all over for dinner one day. It was a nice, wonderful day, and we did a barbecue outside. It was great. And we just fed them dinner, and they I can't even remember what we fed them. I don't remember what it was, but I remember them having, like, different they weren't sure if they liked it. Put it that way. I can't remember what it was, but their reactions were they weren't used to that kind of food. I wish I remembered what it was. Seems like it was just like potatoes. I don't know. It was something like that. Maybe it was scalloped potatoes. They were kind of like, interesting. But we had a great time visiting with them and getting to know them. And my daughter made some really good friends from people from all over the world. It was just a really neat thing. But yeah, same thing with them. They just were kind of blown away by some of the things here in America. And I was watching one of the videos. They didn't think our yellow buses, our school buses, are real. Like they see them on TV, but they didn't think they were real. And this one girl's like, they are real. Those school buses are real, yellow school buses. So anyway, we do have a lot to be grateful for. We have this big, beautiful country with ocean. You can go see the ocean. You can see the mountains. You can see the Grand Canyon. You can see um, the beach, beautiful beaches in Florida. And I mean, we have so much. We really do. The high desert, cattle country. You think about it. There's just so much. Okay. I think I got it done. Yay. And somehow, I don't know, I might have to play with that a little bit to make it match a little better, but I'm happy with it. So Michelle says she's waiting on watercolor paper. Just finished the Little Mermaid book. Thank you for sharing your talents. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing your talents. Working on watercolor paper. Okay, got it. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Michelle's very talented too, and one of our teachers. So if you are ever interested in a class from her, reach out. Her name is Michelle Wimmers. She's also a very accomplished Zentangle artist from Maryland. Okay, I'm going to go back through with my amethyst and just kind of clean things up and add maybe a few strokes here and there. And this will help kind of finish off that section. So I'm going to put a little more amethyst down, my original background color, and just use a round brush or a liner. I do have a liner right here. So you want to use your flow medium, add a few drops of flow medium to your paint just to water it down and help it flow better. So when it's wet and you're doing these little corrections, it's going to look like your stenciled color, but when it dries darker. Just FYI. So you don't get too confused there. It does dry darker. And I have this one stroke. It's kind of funny. So I'm just going to make it into a heart. I'll have a heart on my piece. Okay. Yeah, the other thing I thought was interesting is some of these kids that have come from the different countries said that they um, had a different view of America that was a little more negative. And then they came and they were like, this isn't as bad as we thought it was. So that was kind of also refreshing to hear that. Okay. Gonna keep going. Sometimes you just want to just take out an element, maybe it just doesn't fit, like, that doesn't really fit right there. I am using a liner brush, and it does work pretty good to have a liner brush for this. Okay. Right, I think I'm about done with this side. This part right here, I think needs to be cleaned up. Just make it so it makes sense, right? Just, like, clean it up enough to where it makes sense. It looks like it was meant to be. Okay, and then you wanna go on the edges. It's a little rough on this one. And I'm gonna take my time with this because I do want it to be right, so I don't wanna just kind of leave it if I don't like it. So I'm gonna take a little time to clean this up. Okay, anything on this side? And then the back. We ran into our neighbor the other day. She is the cutest lady. She's in her 80s, and she was trimming her bushes in front of her house. And we came up behind her, so we were, just could see the back side of her. She had a hat on, and she seriously looked just like a 40-year-old woman. I had to tell her that because she doesn't look her age. And she's so cute. But we've been chatting with her and some other neighbor friends for a couple years now. We see them on our walks, and, we had no idea that she's an artist. I was so pleasantly surprised. And she even granted us permission to go see in her house and see some of her paintings. She shared some of her paintings with us. It was so cool. Just was so pleased. It was great. And she's at the age she doesn't really want to paint. Like that was part of her life at one point, and she does different things now, and that's totally okay. She also is like in her yard and knows all the names of every plant. She knows the scientific names. So it's fun to listen to her because she has a wealth of knowledge to share. Okay, I'm gonna fix this part and this. We'll just make this into a little stroke. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with my lighter color and do some fixing also. So we'll make this come together. Okay, back to our lighter color now. Let's see what we can fix here. Sometimes you can add a stroke or two, here and there to make things look better. This one definitely needs a little stroke there. Mm, And I have like an open space right here, so I'm going to put a little stroke in there. You can also pull where you had that space, you can pull those strokes down and fill in those gaps. Just try to get them to blend into the rest of your, stencil area so that it doesn't look like it's so foreign. Help it blend. Okay. I'm just gonna throw a stroke in right here. But, oh, I was gonna tell you about my friend. So, she showed us some of her painted pieces, and she was a portrait artist and did landscapes. It's amazing. So, she showed us all her stuff, and she also studied with a man, um, that had studied with Monet. So, that was cool. Back when she was younger, she studied with this man, this gentleman that I wish I could remember his name. I'll have to ask her again what his name was. But apparently, and she has some of his paintings in her possession. This man that studied with Monet. Apparently, he's famous because other people know him. I just don't I just don't know him. I don't know who he is. Okay, so you can see you can go in and kind of fix things, make them look a little better. It is a little awkward to do the stenciling on this piece, so, not everything's gonna turn out perfectly. You don't want it to be perfect anyway. You want it to be charming, right? We like charming. Okay. So let's see, I got all the front done. I did probably should do a little more on this side. I'll do the sides and then I'll do the back. Okay. I think I'll put a stroke right there. One right there. Okay, let's look at the back. See if there's anything that needs to be done there. This one. It was time to clean my stencil. Sometimes if you don't clean your stencil, it can leave kind of a textured edge instead of a nice crisp edge. Leaves a textured one. So that was because my stencil was dirty. A little foo-foo. I actually like to put a little extra detail on my pieces. A little foo-foo here and a little foo-foo there. Okay, I'm getting closer. This one spot is pretty plain right in here. Okay, I'm gonna go in with a little more of that background color and I'll be done. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm just trying to separate this the strokes a little bit. It's like having food touch on your dinner plate. Trying to separate them. Okay. Boy, I could do this forever. It's fun, actually. I enjoy it. Okay, and you can see that, once it dries, it all looks like it was meant to be. There's another place touching. All right, I'm done. I could do that forever. Oh, good, Karen. I'm glad you got it. Karen says she just got her pencil holder in the mail. I'm glad you got it, Karen. Okay, we are done with our stencil detail. Now let's go ahead and put the brown on the edges there. And that is with espresso. And these are the new bottles by Josanya. They used to be in the bottles, like kind of larger bottles. Now they put them in these large tubes. So I put a little bit of espresso on my palette. And I want either a small flat or a round or a filbert, something like that. I think I'm going to use a filbert to do that part. Okay, I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tape down is what I'm going to do. So let me just stop for a second. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Okay, let's take our blue tape, put that down because we will be much happier campers if we get this down first. Okay. So what you want to do is make sure your purple area is dry. Okay. I'm going to put this, got some splatter there. Make sure everything's dry. Then put your blue tape right over your purple area. Okay. You want to make sure that it's down. I got to get this on camera right. Okay. You want to make sure it's right down in that nook and that doesn't come up from the nook. It's just right in the nook. Okay. And then we'll go across the top here. Right in the nook. This is what smart people do. You use blue tape. It helps so much. And if you don't have any blue tape, go get yourself a roll of blue tape. Okay, now we can also do the edges here so that we don't get any brown up on our edges. Actually, I'm going to go a little farther. Okay. Just follow that top edge along there. Really press it down so that you don't have any little bubbles or anything that paint could go under. And we'll do this bottom here. Alrighty. Nice. Okay. Now we are set. Now we can start. And all you have to do is base coat that edge there. And you can go right over on your blue tape and you're not going to hurt anything. Get all your edges. Then this is espresso. Well, have a great time, Michelle, with your class, and we will talk to you later. That sounds wonderful. An agility class? That sounds awesome. Verdi says, what color could be used instead of espresso? Let's see here. Let me think about it. Well, there's brown earth. Brown earth is fairly close. It might be a little lighter than espresso. You could add a little bit of black to brown earth, maybe. It's just a rich brown I'm looking for. But brown earth might work. And I'm sure you have that one because you're part of our whimsy group, and I'm sure you do. So now we're going to make sure and get 2 coats on because I want it nice and opaque. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I really want to get the elements base coated on front. So we'll just keep working. Okay. Go back, get that second coat on. You can be generous with your paint as you go on this wood because it is just kind of soaks it in. You know what I think we'll do is we will finish this up and then finish this brown up. And then I think we'll take a little break and I will shut this video down and I'll start another live video, give you guys a 15-minute break so you can get up and move around. And then we'll be back. Okay. So we'll do a part 2. Today, I do want to get this base coating done. In order for us to move forward on this, we got to get the base coating done. So we'll take a little break, but I will close down the video and that way it will be a shorter video anyway. And then I'll start up another one. Okay, so got all that base coated. Go ahead and rinse your brush out. Good. And then we'll let it dry just a little bit before we pull the tape off. I don't want to pull it off while the paint is really fresh. So I'm going to just shoot this with a little heat. Just want it a little bit drier than it is right now. Okay. It's still, I mean, it's okay if it's still a little wet. I just don't want it like super wet. So you can go ahead and make sure you don't have anything on your fingers. And you can pull that off. And it did pretty good. I see a few spots where it kind of went through, but not bad. Get that next piece off here. Let's see here. My nails won't pick it up, so I gotta help myself there. Okay. All righty. Okay, we're gonna take a little 15-minute break and we'll come back and finish our base coating on the front. So I'll let you guys have a little break, but I'm gonna close down the video just so we don't have such a long video here on YouTube. Okay, give you guys a little break and then we'll be back in 15 minutes. So let's say at a quarter past the hour, so wherever you're at, quarter past the hour, that's when we'll start up again and finish our base coating. Okay. In the meantime, if you want, you can kind of fix anything that, like, I can tell I need to fix a little bit of this, but yeah. Okay. So I'll be back in a minute, you guys. 15 minutes. I'll see you in a minute. Okay.